gentlemen, Your Excellencies, thank you so much for being here. I would like to figuratively stand on the existing protocol, recognizing that we have many important women and men here today who are here to listen to us as we have this discussion, and hopefully there will be some serious key takeaways that we are able to take to our institutions, organizations, and actually implement. The hope for us as we have these discussions, and this is something we've been talking about with Chelsea, is that we don't want to just be talking. We want to make sure that this leads to concrete actions, because 25 years later, for the Women, Peace and Security Agenda, 10 years later for the Youth, Peace and Security Agenda, there are so many issues that have come up and so many issues that we've been talking about, and we don't want to be talking about them again in the next 10 years or in the next 25 years. When it comes to intersecting WPS and YPS, I know there's usually the danger that we will compound issues. We don't want to treat women and youth as one group, although they face similar challenges and barriers. It is good that we have different frameworks that address the two different agendas, but at the same time, our intersection or our lobby for intersection comes from the perspective that treating them like this intersection would bring about understanding and addressing the systemic challenges that both groups face and both groups go through, that is youth and women. We ultimately also all go through exclusion, challenges of exclusion and challenges of marginalization. So our intersection comes from that perspective to say, let us deal with these issues together as one, to make sure that when one group is suffering exclusion, we are lobbying and we are advocating for both groups, without just dealing with the exclusion of youth on one hand and then the exclusion of women on the other hand. So some of the opportunities that I could speak about are, firstly, the co-development of national action plans. We have national action plans on women, peace and security, and we are also developing national action plans on youth, peace and security. The first opportunity there is the WPS NAPs have been there for longer, so there's a wealth of experience there in terms of overcoming the challenges of development and implementation, and these are lessons that the YPS agenda can also learn from. We currently have around, I think, 12, maybe 11 NAPs total for youth, peace and security, and this is 10 years later. So you can see that's technically like one NAP for every year. So we're looking at maybe only 10 more or less than that in the next 10 years. And we see that WPS has done relatively well, right? If you look at countries like Namibia, for instance, that did so well when it comes to the WPS National Action Plan, we are struggling to develop a national action plan for YPS in that same country. So that's a missed opportunity there. We could actually be leveraging on the experience that Namibia, South Africa have in developing national action plans for women to develop the same for youth. And the other critical area when it comes to NAPs is that for most countries, we go to the same stakeholders for the development and implementation. If you look at countries like Botswana, South Africa, where the ministries of youth and the ministries of women or ministries of gender it's one ministry, they're compounded. So imagine coming in January to come and advocate for the development of a WPS NAP, and then another group comes in June to come to advocate for a development of a national action plan on YPS. That's where the silos, that's where we can break the silos there and actually come together and say, where the ministries are the same, how do we come together and at some point maybe pool resources for development and for implementation.